So is the idea of the ANSI extensions to just tell the database what each of the 4 timestamp types are, and then you just insert a row and it just does this for you? Or?
Oh, you don't need to tell it, right? You just go and you just say, here's the new time slice, update, this table over this range, right? Okay, and then it goes and it figures out what existing time slices are out there, and it does all the logical deleting and then the creation of all these things for you.
Okay.
That's the power of the new extensions, right?
So it's going to know how you logically delete, and there's standards are going to define how you logically delete.
Yeah, well, okay, so what happens is they define syntax, okay, which tells you all you need to tell SQL is update this table, put it in a new guy here with this time range, right? So if that's the syntax, okay, the implication is that whatever else needs to be done behind the scenes is going to be taken care of, right? I mean, so the syntax is kind of the wrap around it, and so the way that syntax works implies what must be happening behind the scenes.
So they're going to declare in a table definition what the valid flag is, what the date ranges are for both types of date ranges.
Yeah. And so I don't in this presentation have the the details of that. I figure let me give you the conceptual kind of background and framework, and the other stuff is going to be coming out soon enough that you get the specific syntax. So I'm more about the conceptual framework of it all. But so I gave you enough of a hint of what that syntax is going to look like.
It's going to be declarative at the table level then on how it's defined.
Yeah.
So you just update the table and automatically handles it.
Yeah.
Or you insert it, automatically handles
Yeah.
it.
So is this more of a design pattern of handling this type of data?
So one of my things is, and we're going to get to this in a second, is that I'm biased. You saw bitemporaldata.com.
Yeah.
I think this changes everything.
Okay.
Right? I think it changes everything. Right? And we're going to get to this in a minute if we don't. I don't know how we're doing for time if we don't run out of time. But like you think about dimensional modeling. What is dimensional modeling? Right? It's a whole series of different techniques for telling you how to store history about data. Right? It's telling you how to store, they don't tell you in these terms, it's telling you how to store sometimes data transaction temporally, sometimes valid temporally, sometimes non-temporally, type 1 slow changing dimensions, non-temporal. Type 2 slow changing dimensions, we could argue whether they're transaction temporal or valid temporal. It actually may depend upon how you implement them. So it's kind of all, and my, little beef is, and Ralph Kimball's written me some nasty emails, is, that it's a, look at this framework that I laid out for you here, right? It's simple, it's analytic, I'm an engineer. It just makes sense to me, right? Monster dimensions, type 1, type 2, all the different deviations from these things, snapshot grained fact tables, accumulating fact tables, it's not, and then there's all the variations. Sometimes you update your periodic snapshot grained fact tables, sometimes you don't. What does all that mean, right? And then what you end up doing is you end up putting that foundation out there, and then the thing which Kimball touted, it's user friendly. How can it be user friendly if you're telling your users to join across tables that have different levels of temporality? Let's given this foundation that I just gave you, let's start getting our heads around what it means to join data structures with different levels of temporality. It's complicated, right? Okay, but using star schema design, we just kind of like turn the users loose on it, and we say, here's this stuff which isn't defined in this tight analytic framework that I just gave you, and we say, have at it. I don't think that they can appreciate, what they're doing, right? That's my little thing there, but more on that later if we get to it.